Hey everybody, Coach Fassel.
Good evening, Coach. How you doing?
Good evening. Thanks. How are you doing?
Great, thank you.
Great.
Good. John, I know you've seen this before, but can you talk about Zuerlein coming back off a bad game and just his approach during that week and how he responded against Cincinnati?
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. And my experience with him, the last 9 years now is there's been, 2 or 3 games in his career where he's missed a couple kicks in a game, and he's always responded. And so, it's awesome that Coach McCarthy and, of course, myself had confidence in him. It was, we told him, hey, Steph Curry's a hot hand 3-point shooter, but every once in a while, he goes 1 for 10 in the game. So he's really mentally tough, mentally strong. It's good to have a veteran kicker that has missed kicks so they know how to bounce back. And I just thought he did a great job. And for Coach to let him kick that 55-yarder at the end of the game yesterday was really a big kick because it was still a 2-score game. So pretty awesome.
And also, you're talking to us earlier in the year when Tony Pollard struggled a little bit in the return game about sticking with him. Just his return yesterday and how much more comfortable, if you believe he has gotten back there returning these kicks.
Yeah, he's gotten very confident, and I think that's just what he needed early. And, for myself, too, it was, on me to kind of find what maybe worked. And there was some, I hate to use experimentation going on early, but it was, what can we do as coaches and blockers to help him? And I think the blocking has really improved. The guys have gotten a lot better at that. But Tony's also really become, you see him really poised back there on the catch, like the big return he had. He just sat there right underneath it, not in a hurry. And when he caught it, he went. And so his confidence has improved a lot as, he's gained trust in the blockers. And it takes a special relationship between blocker and runner and blocker to be able to be on the same page and trust each other. And it's coming. And, I'm happy for Tony to hit a few of those nice ones. We got to score, though, man.
How have you felt Hunter Niswander has done over recent games? He had obviously that stretch yesterday where he put that one at the 4-yard line and had to do it again. But what have you made of what he's showcased thus far?
Yeah, I've been really proud of Hunter to come in literally off the street, without having any operation work with the snapper and rush and all that. So for him to be able to just seamlessly jump right in and hit some really nice punts, his operation time is outstanding. His holding on field goals has been really nice. So I think he's a really nice prospect. Let's put it that way. I think he's a really good prospect, and he's got a great poise and mind about him that that'll lend him to success in the NFL. And you got to keep it going. A lot of little things to work on that maybe can't really be seen, but he's working on it, and he really works hard at it. So I'm proud of his contributions thus far.
This is our first time to chat with you since the Baltimore game, and so I wanted to ask about the operation on the field goal there, where there was a delay of game. What transpired there? Where in the operation did things fall apart?
Yeah, it's a great question because, we called the field goal in enough time. And I asked the guys, if, Greg was slow or the holder was slow. I think that what it came down to is we probably just didn't break the huddle fast enough. So I really don't have a great answer for you because I felt like we were in normal rhythm. And then all of a sudden we looked up and we got called for delay of game, and that didn't have a bearing on the kick. But we weren't able to honestly pinpoint the one thing that took us longer because we felt like we were in rhythm. So either we were slow, maybe they started the play clock fast. I'm not really sure. So I wish I could give you a good answer, but that's the honest answer.
And there was the punter tryout earlier this season, and right now there remains one punter in your building. That's Hunter. Is that something that could change as you guys evaluate what 2021 could look like? Do you anticipate a punter, a second one being added to your building at some point this month?
I really don't know. I have not had that conversation with Will McClay or Coach McCarthy. If something happened to Hunter, Greg can punt, and then vice versa. But I have not had that conversation. Again, to be totally honest with you, we haven't even gone there, so I don't know the answer to that question.
I'm curious if you can, what you've learned about LP Ladouceur during this season with him, and what kind of security blank he's been. I think he's about to set some kind of record for most games played by a Canadian-born player or something like that this week, and he's up there in team history as well for most games played.
Gosh, you know what? Is that really? He might have the most games played as a Canadian?
Yeah.
I'm taking the PR staff's word on that one. Scott, you want to chime in?
Yeah, I think he's tied with Eddie Murray right now, and he'll break it this week.
Oh, man, that's awesome. I didn't know that. We will definitely celebrate that on Wednesday. Yeah, he's been outstanding. I mean, to play against LP without knowing him and then to just come into the building and get to work with him. And, he's really, I told you this a couple of weeks ago, he's really been great for Hunter as far as the operation part of holding and the intricacies with that. So he is a security blanket. He's strong. He doesn't seem like he's 39, I think. We all need a little bit of his fountain of youth. Maybe there's something in that Canadian water. I don't know. But we'll celebrate LP setting that record. I'm really glad that you guys told me about that because we need to know those things. So that's awesome.
In regard to Tony Pollard, you asked about him earlier. I was just curious. What have you seen click over these past two games from a kickoff return standpoint?
It really started probably in that Washington game where we got one out past the 50, maybe even past the opposite 40. And really, it's almost like anything, like a basketball player, you see the ball go in one time and then you kind of get a hot hand. And with Tony, he kind of found the crease one time and instinctively he's just been able to find a couple creases, against Baltimore, against Cincinnati. He saw Rico do it against Pittsburgh. And honestly, when that happens, the blockers strain just a little bit harder and a little bit longer. And that's part of the chemistry aspect of returning the ball. When the blockers feel like, hey, this kick returner, man, he can give us a chance. It's just naturally they might just one more tick. And then, when the blocker or when the returner, Tony, sees the guy's blocking a lot better, then, he feels confident, then he can take it out of the end zone 3 deep. And so it's definitely, like I said before, a relationship between blocker and runner and blocker that you need to have some success. But I think Tony just kind of getting that first one kind of got him going. And, he relaxed first of all, and then he just kind of started to find some creases naturally.
It seems like there are pros when you're as aggressive as you are as a coordinator in terms of you've got opponents who need to prepare for you, devoting practice time and meeting time for all certain scenarios. There's also, from a punt standpoint, maybe they will be more mindful in terms of formation and the sort, devoting personnel to prepare for a fake. So it might help your net average on a given punt. But what are the cons to it in terms of, if any, but maybe teams preparing or anticipating fakes? What are the disadvantages that you have to work around to your perceived aggression going into a game?
Yeah, I think that would be the biggest thing is for us is to try to anticipate the unexpected from the opponent based on, what you see through the course of the last, like for this game example, the last 13 weeks might not be exactly what you get. So, a lot of times we'll dig deep, back in the past 3 years of, say, San Francisco or, last week Cincinnati. You might look back on a couple of years worth of tape to see if you see anything unusual that maybe you can anticipate. So it requires us to dig a little deeper and further into some video. I think our guys do a really good job of continuing to focus on the fundamentals and the tackling technique and the blocking technique. And we don't get really caught up in, tricks and gadgets, but of course we have a couple that we carry over the whole season and we still got them. And we just need to be really wise when to use them. And sometimes you got to just say hell with it. We got to go for it, as you've probably seen. So yeah, that's probably it. just a little bit of the unexpected and anticipating that.
All right, thanks for your time tonight, Coach. We appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Hey, good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this evening edition.